Hello and welcome to Mycast, the indie horror podcast based on and around the independent Mycho Universe. I would like to welcome today a very special guest, but I couldn't find one, so instead we have Sophie Bryant. How are you? Or Sophie Byrant, as the way I always used to call you.
Yeah, that's my nickname.
That's your AKA name.
Yeah, that's my real name.
How are you? How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Are you good?
I'm all right. Yeah. I mean, for people who don't know, I do usually have like about half an hour of catch up with people before we start.
Yeah.
So I'm not coming in dry going, how are you? Tell me about your whole life.
Let's go back to the beginning.
I already do know that she's okay, but I still feel like it's polite to ask.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Good. How's lockdown part 2.5, I think?
Oh my goodness. Part 101. I don't even know where we are. Yeah, it's really good. It's good. I miss the sun though. I wish like the first lockdown was a lot nicer because it was like what felt like 50 degrees and I got a really good tan. That's like what got me through lockdown. Whereas now it's not so much. But I'm actually doing couch to 5K.
Oh right.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I really enjoy it.
I've got the couch part down, definitely. I've
Yeah.
perfected that bit. So
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I've been forcing myself to do that because the couch thing is easy peasy for me. So yeah, but that's pretty much it. Really,
that's very good, very admirable.
Thank you.
I mean, you could do like an American Dad and go. Is it like star bathing, where you get your tan off the light from the stars, because the stars are like suns from thousands of miles away, aren't they? So
is that actually a thing?
No, it's not real. You can't actually do it. Well, they go insane, don't they? And they sunbathe so much that when the sun goes down, they convince themselves they can star bathe because stars are suns millions of light years away, aren't they?
I genuinely thought you were telling me that. Wasn't
that? No, you can't really. I'm sorry to inform you that star bathing is not a real.
You would have found me on like my roof, lying in a bikini. Like, come on.
I shouldn't have told you. I should have just let it happen.
You
started a massive new trend. In fact, just do it. Just go. This podcast will be used as evidence against you in like a court of law, like years from now. We've all caught hypothermia from sitting on our roofs at night trying to catch because this girl told us we could. Go and take pictures of yourself, like starbathing. Go and look at my tan. It's amazing. I'm glowing, literally.
Oh my god. Who needs to go to Turkey or anywhere? Just go on
just get under the blanket of stars and it's like concentrated tanning from billions of light years away.
Yeah. That's so jokes.
There you go. So thank you for joining us. As usual, I have about 5 or 6 questions, dependent on your answers. Sometimes questions get quashed together and I ignore them, so move on. So that's
ignore the answers. Just ignore them.
Some people are overzealous and answer all the questions in the first answer, and I go, I've got nothing, I've got no backup, so I guess I've had the time out. So as always, my first question is, who the hell do you think you are? Obviously I know, but tell people who wouldn't know.
What, in the me as a human? No.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. I mean, in the context of this conversation, not like,
What, like Sophie Neale? Not my character?
No, as a person, as a human.
As a human, you want to know me as a human. So I'm 23. I don't live far away from you. I love MK. And yeah, I go to drama school right now, although don't do it right now, obviously, because COVID. So that's a bit weird. But yeah, I've done loads of shows, done a feature film with you. And that's pretty much it. Like, that's what I love. And that's what I've been doing for the past however long. But yeah, that's kind of where my life's been for the past 2 years, because I did a foundation and now I'm doing a master's degree. I never thought I'd do a degree, let alone a master's, and then here I am doing a master's degree in what I love, which is really, really good. But yeah, I want to get back like doing the films though, because obviously with all the training now, I'm like, I want to like implement it into things. So I'm gonna get back on like Cast and Call Pro and everything and start applying. So yeah, but God knows what's up there.
That's the way to do it. So I mean, obviously you're an actor, as you've just said.
Can you tell with the hair?
I mean, we can tell. But how did you get into acting? What made you want to be an actor?
I remember when I was 7, I joined like a summer school for a week where we did a play, and I played a dinosaur, and I was like in a dinosaur costume, and I was very, very small, still am the same height actually, and yeah. I thought you might smile.
All right. I'm joking. I know I would never take those 2 inches away from you.
Absolutely not. But yeah, that was pretty much where it all began. And then I just started doing the shows, and if I'm honest with you, when I was really young, it was like the thrill of the audience, like clapping you at the end, and like how you'd worked so hard on a production, and people were like, not even saying that you were amazing, just like having people clap. I really liked that, which just sounds so self-obsessed. And then as I grew up, I was like, oh, it's actually about the craft, and it's about like being with people and like the community, like the friendships that you make, and just like the true families and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it all started for me. But initially I wanted to be an ice skater, which is quite funny.
I can imagine that as well, though. You've got ice skater's hair, right? Especially right now.
Yeah. She's crazy. Oh my god.
People can't see it, obviously, because this is an audio podcast. But
right.
Which is very disappointing, I'm sure, because you know.
Damn it. By the way, everyone, I have purple hair.
Yeah, she's got lovely kind of lilac hair going on at the minute. It's very nice. So, I mean, we've worked together before, obviously. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be on the podcast. So, the first one we worked together on was Mask of Thorn. So, how I know, obviously, I was there, but how did you get involved in the project?
Well, I actually got into it through a really good friend of ours. Yeah, he was bless him. I was doing a show, and he contacted me and said that I think I'd be good for this character. And so I applied for it, and it was amazing. And yeah, pretty much just, I think I think I sent you a self-tape, and then we had a conversation, didn't we? And that was pretty much it. I know you were looking, I think it was like small blonde person, and I was like, yep, I'm 5 foot, does that count?
Well, I was always really Paul, who sadly passed away in December. But every time I put out a casting call, it was like, bear with me. Yeah, I know someone, and that happened every time.
And you know what was... Sorry, what were you saying?
No, it's all right. He sent me your tape. Your like contact details. And I was like, oh wow, like she's perfect. But obviously you can't cast people on like that basis. So it was just one of those things where I was like, where you just go, well, what I'll do is I'll just send them like an audition script, and then you know, you kind of wait to see like I mean, obviously with an audition tape you get to see performance. But also it tells you a lot about a person by how quickly you get it back. Like, you know, and the general attitude you get when it comes back and things like that. And so so that, but I mean, in terms of actually casting a person, it was fairly like, I don't want to say uneventful, but easy. No. You know, like
I felt like, you know, I remember seeing, you know, the spread saying like what the character was about and the type of person, and I was like, I feel like it's me. I was like, I'm reading me. But yeah, it was actually weird because I was doing Legally Blonde at the time, and Paul was doing Legally Blonde as well. And so he also knew my dad, and he contacted my dad, who then contacted me for this role. And so I was like speaking with Paul on like Facebook, texting about it all and everything. And then I went to rehearsals that evening, and like we looked at each other and we were like, hang on a minute. I was like, you're the person I've been speaking to for like the past 2 days. So we've been in like rehearsal rooms chatting. Well, no, not speaking in rehearsal rooms, but then like speaking on text, but we didn't know that it was each other. It was so weird. It was a really sweet memory. I remember that vividly. But yeah, it was all him, really. It's amazing.
Well, we often called him our casting director. And then, I mean, weirdly, you became our casting director quite a lot on Mask of Thorn. We'll get into that in a minute, I think. But yeah, no, I mean, like, every time we're casting anyone, Paul would be, I know the perfect person.
He just knows
like
nice people, doesn't he? I mean, that's
no, and I tend to find he was always a very good judge of character. Which like, so that takes half the battle away from you when it's someone he suggested.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always, well, I know that they're trustworthy and I know that they're a decent person. So now it's just, do they fit the role, and are they a good actor? I mean, always they were, because he picked people from the shows that he did and things like that. So he always made that very easy. But but you were, I think, the first. I might be wrong, but I think you were the first time I'd ever recast a character as a younger version of themselves. I think the first time we ever did that on such a big scale, because obviously Olivia's the biggest character in Mask of Thorn that was previously played by another actor. There are a couple of others, because I think John was originally another character as well.
Yeah.
And Cyphers, who was the detective. But I mean, he had a very small role in Legacy, and then a slightly larger role in this one. But you were the kind of, so that was a bit of a, in terms of getting that right as well, because you really do. I felt Olivia more than anyone had to resemble that character, personally and physically, I think, as well. So that was a difficult one to get right, but I think we nailed that quite well.
I hope so. Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, everyone likes her, so that's kind of, I guess we did a good job.
Yeah, we're here now, so I'm assuming so.
So, from your perspective, what was it like? What was it like working on the film?
Oh my god, amazing! Literally, I'm just beaming.
You don't have to say that as I'm here.
No, honestly, you can leave the room and I'll tell them all. Don't worry. It was amazing. It was honestly the best 2 weeks ever. It was intense though, because I remember we were like shooting from 7 p.m. to like 7 a.m. because obviously we had to get like the nighttime shoots, and we were in that school, the abandoned school, and it was amazing. I felt like a big kid, and I just felt really secure, and we could just have good fun, but then we just all got the job done. I just felt like everyone was there for the right reasons, and I felt like everyone's commitment was good. And I think we had so many laughs, and I've got so many videos on my phone of us just going around the school or like on the roof, and that was amazing. That was by far the best bit. But actually I remember having to buy an eye mask to sleep, because obviously we were sleeping during the day.
Of course, yeah.
I can't now sleep without the eye mask ever since that. So like since 2017.
No, I've just completely ruined your life, is what you're saying.
Even when I'm in pitch black darkness, I have to have the eye mask now, because when we were shooting and stuff and sleeping at like 2 p.m. sorry. But yeah, it was really good. I had so much fun. I'd love to do it all over again. Like, we'll just reshoot the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, in generally, from a director's perspective, it was probably one of the best experiences that I've ever had making a film, because films are difficult. Like, they genuinely they are. Even when they're going well, they're hard. But I think we prepared so much for that, because we had such short windows to shoot, because we were shooting at night but in the summer, so we had about 6 hours of actual shooting time every night. So every scene was like at least roughly storyboarded, you know what I mean? So that was, but I think because of that, we worked very efficiently, and so it made life much easier. So when it was hard, we planned for that, So I think I think that made it a much nicer experience, and everyone was really nice. I mean, at least at the time.
At the time, everyone was lovely.
But everyone pitched in and did a really good job, and like,
I remember the snacks were amazing. Sorry, but I remember the food. We had like a table where we all had loads of sweets and snacks, and I remember putting on the blue eyeshadow every night, and like the leather jacket and the hoops, and just like getting into costume. Like, it's all so much fun, and seeing everyone else. It was just really good. It was really good.
Well, it was. For the fact we had no money, the fucking snacks were
amazing.
Well, what over years, I'd accumulated, I think, about £400-500 worth of royalties of various things I'd done. And so, like I was just like, right, well, there's our food budget. So,
Yeah.
like every day, I was like, I had this little pot that been putting aside for years, and I was like,
Wow.
right, I'll spend that on treats for everybody, like over the next 2 weeks. So that's kind of
Yeah, I remember doing
where it all went.
I remember the toilet was not fun though, because we had to like get bottles of water, didn't we, to like flush the toilets. That wasn't fun. I'll admit that was probably the only
Oh,
thing. But
yeah, well, we had one working toilet, but it would only flush if you poured like basically a bucket of water down it. And then
but none of the water
like
worked, did it?
over time, like people just clogged it up to the point
Ugh.
where it was like, yeah, you can't use that anymore.
Yeah.
What's weird is like you couldn't wash your hands like with tap water. You had to like have hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
But because it was like an old dusty building as well, you'd be going to the toilet and then you'd just be like mashing hand sanitizer dust all over yourself. It was just horrible. But I mean, you had it pretty bad, you guys, because we were shooting at night. But since then, we've shot there again during the day, and everyone just goes to Sainsbury's over the road, gets some snacks.
Oh my god, yeah.
Bathroom,
if only.
You know, but then it was like, if you don't go to the toilet by 11 o'clock, you're not going all night long. You know, like.
No, so. I remember it got so bad one night I had to pee in the bush because I was so desperate. I was like, sorry, keeping this PG. I was like, I was so desperate. But yeah, but I feel like half the fun was the fact that it was at night though. I feel like looking back, that is what made it so good in a way.
Yeah.
When we were on the roof, you know, and just it was just amazing. It just makes me smile thinking about it.
It was, and you kind of became like casting director for like most of the film as well. I think.
Yeah. I can't even count how many people I was like, "Do you want to do this?"
Well, this is it, yeah. Like so, because I think we, it's kind of nature of the thing. But so we did have people lined up. But this is the problem with working with people you've never worked with before.
Yeah.
Is that so? We did have a bunch of people cast that, for various reasons, either decided they couldn't commit the time, or couldn't, or they didn't want to, or one guy who didn't turn up at all.
Yeah, that was fun.
So we got like a message, like I think about an hour after he was supposed to be there, going, "Can we just do it another day?" And we were like,
"Not how it works."
No, that's not how it works.
This is clearly your first time in the industry.
Yeah, I think one of your best finds. Obviously, Michael Batty was a find.
What a legend!
I love Mike. He was just so good.
I'll never forget when I rang him and I was like, "Do you want to be in a film?" And he was like, okay. I just remember he was at like work or something, and I was like, "Can you get time off work?" He was like, "Yeah, I could maybe leave in like an hour." And I just remember handing him the script, being like, "Yeah, cool. Can you just go learn these lines?" Honestly, he was a pro. Like,
and then we were like, "I'm sorry, mate, but you've committed now. We need you here all night for the next 4 nights." And he was like, "What?"
And the funny thing is, like, spoilers, but like obviously he dies in the film, so like it was quite fun to be like, "It's okay, you get to do a death." That was.
But I mean, he loved like so. He definitely started off very nervous. I felt on this first night, you could really feel that he was struggling to settle into, because I mean, even if you've been doing it for years, to be thrown into it that quickly is difficult. But by the last night, I remember he was so into the swing of it, like he was hitting all the jokes, spot on. You know, he was, all the movements he was doing were great.
Yes.
And then I was like, right, so this is the bit where you die, and he was like, oh, like.
Yeah, he was like, do I have to die?
And then you can go home, and he was like, oh, like we're just getting into it, and I was like,
exactly.
I remember choreographing literally a dance sequence with him, and he was like, what? Like, you know, I remember Eve standing in for him as well when we were doing all the tests.
Yeah.
But also you introduced us to Chloe Badham.
I did indeed.
Yeah.
It's her birthday today.
It is. Happy birthday, Chloe, if you're watching.
Happy birthday, Chloe. Yeah.
I've just finished cutting her showreel, actually.
Have you?
I was like, I don't know how it's happened, but she's been in the most films we've ever done.
She's been in so many of your films. Like, I feel
just
like every
purely by
time
accident. because she she played Nurse Pam in Mask of Thorn.
Yep.
And then I can't remember, what did she do after that? Oh, we were doing like a short for an anthology, but we needed someone who hadn't been like a main character in all of our stuff. And she was like, "Oh, I can do it." So we were like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
So she did that. She came and did that. That was like a few hours one night. And then I can't remember why. So we were I think last minute we didn't have the person, we didn't have the role of Tiana's sister cast in what you call it. It was only a small role. She just needed to come and be in photographs and stuff and like one thing. And we were like, oh fuck, like we haven't cast this role. Who's going to do it? And we threw a thing out, and she was like, I can be there like tomorrow. And we were like,
she's amazing. She's so quick and on the ball.
Then what happened because of that is that we kind of expanded on her role a little bit. So we wrote like a kind of intro to the film, so she had a bit more screen time.
Yeah.
Because you want to make it worth people's while for, you know. And then we ended up doing like a short film with the same character, just as a kind of bucket, because it was a bit that we kind of couldn't fit into the film somewhere. And so we kind of had an opportunity to do it as like a short film. So I said,
no, she's amazing, honestly. Like I really think she's one of the most talented people. She's actually someone that like inspired me when I was a kid. Like I remember because she is a bit older than me, not by much, but I remember when I was younger and I saw her on stage, I used to be like, I want to be like Chloe Badham, which sounds so cute. But like, yeah, I remember thinking that. I genuinely, and
all actors should aspire to be like Chloe Badham, though, I think.
Yeah, she's an absolute legend. I got to play her legs in Mask of Thorn. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So like, if she genuinely makes it big, I can be like, excuse me, I would Chloe Badham's legs.
Well, you're both big together, I would have thought.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
So there we go. But yeah, she's the queen of the accidental casting, because she came to pick up a copy of Bannister Dollhouse.
Yeah.
From our house, and we were having like a nightmare casting for Pandemonium. We were having a real problem, I think, with one of the girls we were trying to get in. She wasn't happy about some of the stuff in the script. So Chloe was like, "I'll do it," and we were like, "Oh right, well, like, can you be there like in 2 days?" And she was like, "Yeah." And we were like, "Cool, there we go. Then that role's fucking sorted."
She's someone you can really rely on for that type of stuff. She's so good.
Like, and she comes and she does a good job, and then you turn. And she's like, what's she called? The littlest hobo. You turn around and she's just gone, like as if she was never there. She's like Slash from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
You know, see a hat floating in the wind.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's not there at all. But I feel like Chloe has completely derailed your podcast. She's not even in.
Imagine.
But yeah, no, like, that started that kind of weird, like, well, it almost became like an in-joke of like Chloe appearing in all these films in like a little role somewhere, you know, like,
absolutely.
The Chloe Badham drinking game, we call it.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would actually be a really good
gotta have a drink. You know.
Oh my goodness. If anyone needs a game for lockdown, they should do that.
You'll be drunk if you play this Chloe Badham. Oh, fucking hell. She's never not in there.
Yeah, she's in every one of your films, I swear.
But back to Olivia, and but yeah, no, you played her legs. I remember that was the
that was fun.
When she got chopped in half, her body fell down, and your legs were in the background.
I actually just came to like, I think I came like, because I think that was obviously I put her forward for that role, and then I knew she was filming, so I thought, well, I'll go and like kind of support her, because obviously I had met you guys already, and because we'd done like a table read and everything. So I remember going to kind of like be there with her on set just so she felt more comfortable, but she was absolutely fine with all of you. She didn't need me there. And then
by that, at that point, I had inadvertently had her like kissing a guy in a cupboard.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd written it so that she could, like, you know, like there could be some noises and stuff, and we'd get away with it that way. But like she was just like, well, we can just do it, I guess. And I was like, well, I mean, you don't have to. And then like on action, they were just, and I thought, well,
Okay.
you know,
Job done.
fine, whatever, you know, like, so
yeah.
that
That was good. I just remember coming and then just like standing there, and then all of a sudden, I don't even know who suggested it. It might have been you, that you were just like, would you mind just putting on her skirt and falling at the same time? And I remember trying to flick the shoe off my foot in a specific
we
way.
had like a dummy, but it's not good. It's been killed about 1 billion times, and its legs now look like socks shoved inside tights. So I was like, so we were going to use that for legs.
Yeah.
I thought, then you turned up and I was like, we literally have like a real pair of legs.
We have a real pair of legs.
Production value, real legs. Goodness. You know, so it was, so it worked out really well.
It was good fun. I'm disappointed.
I mean, there was a lot of visual effects like that in the film. When you were climbing down from the roof. Yeah. You really didn't want to do that.
Oh my god, I'm like petrified of ladders. I don't know why, and like heights. So I do remember when we were, you know, coming to do that shoot, I was like, oh no, this is not going to go well. I just remember going up the ladder so slowly, and I would only go up and down it if I like had to. I remember waiting on the ground for ages until you were like, yeah, okay, I actually need you now, and I was like, okay, I'll come up now. Yeah, that was pretty.
But to get you hanging over the roof, we got like a cupboard. Like painted it white, and then we lined it up with the perspective of the roof, so that you could put your hands over it and climb down.
Yeah, I was really relieved because I remember you made George like hang off the end, didn't you?
Well, he was like, because the day before he was like, "Oh, I'm not bothered. I'll do anything," and you were like, "I can't." No. So I remember spending the whole day thinking, "How am I going to get this shot?" Like, I'm sorry, she's not going to be able to do that, and so. No. I came up with this idea of using this cupboard thing, and it matched the lip of the roof.
Yeah. It looked so good as well.
Honestly, it worked out like, you know, like when you think, is this going to work? And then you do it and you go, obviously it was always going to work. I knew that. Plan. Yeah. I knew that. This wasn't just a potential waste of time. I knew this was always going to work.
Yeah, exactly. I remember just because she had to be so confident and so like ballsy and like not afraid, especially at that point, you know, she was like kind of in control and stuff like that. And I just remember being like, yeah, there's no way I can, you know, even try and do it with still looking cool. I remember sitting on the edge and pretend like swinging my legs over or whatever, and there was obviously the ladder beneath and whatnot. I remember I was like shaking with that. So when you said about the box thing, I was like, oh, thank God for that. I was like, thank you so much. Because it was a real relief, because then I could act.
Yeah, no, and you did a really good job.
Thank you.
So did you, speaking of Olivia, is there anything you did personally to prepare for playing her? I mean, I don't know what your process is.
I mean, it's so long ago now that it was like 2017, so I'm just trying to rack my brain. But yeah, I remember that like the costume was a real one for me, like the hoops and the studs on the jacket and like the leather and everything, and even the shoes. It's just kind of all like embodying it. That was kind of when I felt really good about the character. It was kind of, I remember walking around the school with like when parts that, you know, you weren't preparing to be shot in, and I would just kind of walk around and like think about like how she would be feeling and all those things, and I felt like when I did that with the costume, it really came together, and with the script, do you know what I mean? So yeah, my main thing was obviously we were to such a tight schedule that I just wanted to make sure that all like the lines were down and everything was like truthful and stuff, so I worked quite a bit on that. But then like embodying the character, it was just really with the costume and with Eve, really, you know, we got on so well on set that, you know, it made it really easy to almost play good best friends.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, definitely. And I think, because I mean, that the relationship between those two characters is the crux of the film, really, isn't it? It really has to.
Yeah.
It really had to work, and I think you guys kind of became like instant besties on set. So
we were so good. We laughed loads, and you know, and it's carried on, which is what I was saying earlier about why I love this industry and stuff like that. Is the family that you have afterwards. You know, there's so much support system now that it's like, oh great, you know, I did that film with her, but we're still good friends. And stuff.
Absolutely. So. with all that said, what's next for Sophie Sophie Bryant? Honestly, I've called you Sophie Bryant for so long now that it's become like.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, there was like a film poster that spelt your name wrong when we first met, and so I've called her that ever since.
Yep. It was like the first. It was like a short film that I did for this girl at uni, and I just remember being so excited to have like a poster with my name on it, and I was like on this poster, and I looked at it, and I was like, oh no, my name's spelt wrong. So it's like, I remember when you were doing the posters and like everything, I was like, please spell it right. And I remember you teasing, being like, yeah, it's Byron, right?
Well, we got your name right, but then I'm fairly certain someone else's name got spelt wrong.
Yeah.
It's I think Clark Tribb. Got, which is ironic because I sent the stuff to the distributor and we had a spelling mistake on the Pandemonium DVD.
Really?
That I just hadn't noticed. It was like buried in like someone's name, and I just hadn't clocked it. So I fucking double checked this thing before they went off to the US distributor, and then it was still wrong. And I was
you tried. You did your best.
Yeah, I mean, you do your best. I mean, Anna was down as Jana on the Cleavers cover.
Oh my goodness, that's nowhere near her name. No. Maybe that should be her new nickname.
Jana.
But yeah, no. Speaking of names, actually, I've actually changed my name and my actor name, which is what a better place to reveal it than a podcast.
There we go. Will on the thing? Will I be putting your old name or your new name?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
You'll have to decide.
Well,
live on air.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. No, I feel like it would be my new name.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Sophie Neale. That is my new actor's name. I can't even say it. Sophie Neale. Yeah, it's taken after my grandma's maiden name.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it wasn't because Sophie Bryant was already taken, so I had to change my name. And I was like, does that affect all the things that I've done already with the name Sophie Bryant?
Kind of, but not really. I wouldn't worry too much.
I won't worry too much, but yes, I've actually changed my name. And that's kind of been in the process recently. Finally got that all sorted. What is in the pipeline for me? If I'm honest, not much with the acting world. Obviously, it's kind of come to a massive halt. And I'm going to finish my degree and hopefully get to perform a play at my school. That would be really good. That'd be lovely to do. But mainly just like get through this time, stay happy, stay positive. Like, I'm really excited for the other side of all of this when we can start getting back into normal things. Like I absolutely loved, doing your film, like a few other films that I did, some short films. Like I loved all of that before I went, and trained, that I would love to go back and do that stuff. I would just adore to do it again. So yeah, that's pretty much my plan, but obviously that is all COVID depending. But yeah, hopefully acting do with that.
Well, thank you for doing this for us today.
No, all right.
It'd be nice to see you. I'll do my P's and my Q's and dot my lowercase J's, and then we'll say goodbye. So thank you for joining us, Sophie. If you guys want to listen to this podcast, you can find it at anchor.fm/Mycho, MYCHO, and it's also on if you search Mycast, the indie horror podcast, it's on iTunes and Spotify and wherever they have good quality podcasting. We will not be far behind. If you go to mycho.co.uk and mycho.co.uk, you can get t-shirts and films starring Sophie. And you can watch short films and pick up videos, and there's all sorts of things to do there. Look at nice pictures and all that kind of thing. And if you subscribe to patreon.com/Mycho, MYCHO, you can get these episodes about a month early, so you can get them. You get them before anybody else. Plus, there's like loads of other extra bonus content, and we make short films, or at least when we're allowed to again. We'll be reinstating making short films 3 or 4 times a year. and hopefully some other stuff. But in the meantime, all the podcasts go there early. All the kind of comic book stuff goes there early. We get trailers early, and basically anything that we make goes there first most of the time. So thank you for joining us, Sophie.
That's all right. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
A big thank you to our Patreon subscribers. You guys make these shows possible, and we couldn't do it without you. Frasier has left the building.